Rebirth of the Malicious Empress of Military Lineage. Chapter 81, Bargaining. Bei Zhaoxing was not a person but an industry. In one's time in the living, there are thousands of poses and attitudes. There are imperial courts and families, and also the commoners in the pugilist world. In the 36 trades and 72 industries, there were also people who belonged to the 3 religions and 9 schools of thoughts. It does not sound serious or noble, but there were many opportunities and roles in them. There were times when these people from the 3 religions and 9 schools of thoughts would maintain and preserve the sporadic relationship between the imperial court and the pugilist world, and Bei Zhaoxing was one of those industries. As the name suggested, Bei Zhaoxing was similar to detective agencies, and in the 100 over years of legacy, this industry did not appear much and ordinary people would have never heard of it before. As for who or whom, no one knew. But not knowing did not mean that it was of no existence. The Fengxian pawnshop in the Ding capital was currently Ming Qi's Bei Zhaoxing. That red-clad female's eyes started to be awed, and it was Mo King and those behind that felt somewhat weird. Even though they were in the army, they also roamed the pugilist world but did not know about what Bei Zhaoxing was. It was naturally so. No matter if it was Fengxian pawnshop or Bei Zhaoxing, ordinary people would not know that the people who came here were all prepared. Young lady is? The red-clad female asked. I am here to make a deal. Hearing that, the red-clad female's expression slightly changed, following which she spoke to Shen Miao under the little shop assistant's stunned eyes. This young lady's stuff must be expensive. As such, please follow me to discuss at the back. Mo King and the rest wanted to follow but was held back by the red-clad female. These few are not required. Young lady. Jings was somewhat worried if Shen Miao would encounter any accident if she were to enter alone. You all remain back. Shen Miao said, I will return upon the completion of the deal. After Shen Miao and the red-clad female left, Mo King and the rest were left at the outer hall. One of the guards that Shen Kaiyu gave to Shen Miao said, Brother Mo, what is young lady doing here for? Since they had killed people before, they had intuition for danger. That red-clad female's expression and conversation between Shen Miao made these people feel that the matter was not simple at all. I too do not know. Mo King shook his head with a wry smile and looked towards the corridor that led inside. Young lady has a sense of propriety. The red-clad female brought Shen Miao through the corridor. This corridor was very long, and at the end of it there was a square pagoda that was 6 floors high. There was a veil at the highest floor which made one unable to see what was inside, but the renovations were done extremely beautiful. Even the wood that was used to make the pillars were Huanxiang wood, which was valued at thousands of gold. Outsiders spread rumors that the owner of Fengxian pawnshop was extremely wealthy, else it would not have been maintained for so many years outside expectations. It bought the most expensive large piece of land in the Ding capital, but income does not cover expenditure, and that was something not anyone could bear. But Shen Miao knew that the reason why Fengxian pawnshop was so rich and powerful was because the money they earned was not simply due to pawning of things, but was one that did not require capital, and naturally it was totally profiting. The red-clad female welcomed her into the lowest level of the pagoda and let her sit in a room at the lowest floor. It was a tea room that was filled with mahogany wooden tables and chairs that had lifelike carvings of landscapes. One was able to see the high artistic craftsmanship with one glance. It was really worth a lot of money. I am called Hongling. The female smiled. With her smile, it seems that drops of water could almost flow out from her eyes, like flirtatious expressions were engraved into her bones. She asked, how to address this young lady. My surname is Shen. Shen Miao said. When Shen Miao was sizing up the other person, Hong Ling was also sizing Shen Miao up. She was secretly surprised as she thought which rich young lady came to look for trouble in Fengxian pawnshop, but who knew that she would hear Bei Zhaoxing from that person's lips. Those who knew these words were an expert, so she brought her inside. But Hong Ling had done business in Fengxian pawnshop for so many years, and it was her first time to meet such a young client, which made her feel unsure as to how much the other person knew. Most likely this was the first deal, and she wondered if she needs to elaborate. So it is Shen, young lady. Hong Ling smiled. Not sure if Shen young lady is in our Fengxian pawn shop to buy or to sell, Shen Miao said. To buy and to also sell. Buying and selling at the same time. Hong Ling could not help but be surprised for a moment when the few green-clad girls that were serving in the surroundings saw Hong Ling forgetting herself. They all quietly took a glance at Shen Miao. Putting away her shocked heart, Hong Ling continued to smile. Then one do not know the deal that Shen young lady want to do is worth how much? Shen Miao shook her head. Hong Ling did not really understand her intention. Shen young lady. Shen Miao's voice was very calm. Just now I have already said to the one in front of the store, the deal I am making is too big. He cannot see and you are also unable to see. If this is to be discussed, get your master to come over. Hong Ling's voice was somewhat unsmooth. For so many years she was socially active, but because those who came here for business knew about what industry Bei Zhaoxing was, they would be courteous to her. Thus this was the first time she had such a rude call. She initially wanted to flare up, but when she raised her head and looked at Shen Miao's eyes, she was momentarily surprised. The young female's age opposite her was not big and had a pair of clear eyes, but when they saw someone, there was a bursting sense of coolness and calm, also an inexplicable majesty to them. Hong Ling felt that the look that the other person was giving her really had no trace of fear, as it was simply someone looking down from the top. Hong Ling's heart quivered and in an instant the anger that was displayed disappeared. After doing so much business with others, she was able to see one clearly. This young lady's air was a little shocking. She did not know what went on that made her feeling somewhat anxious. Shen young lady, I am the supervisor here, so all the dealings made are naturally done by me. Despite feeling that Shen Miao's identity was not normal, Hong Ling was not afraid and the smile on her face was much more beautiful. No matter how much money it is not as though I have never seen before. It has nothing to do with money. Shen Miao slightly smiled. I had said before, you cannot make the decision for this deal. She looked around. I came with sincerity, but you all did not have any. Bei Zhaoxing is no more than this. Hong Ling had never encountered such a rude person like this, and immediately her facial expression became a third colder before saying, I instead feel that Shen young lady is not sincere in doing business. Since Shen young lady cannot trust me, then I have no choice. Shen Miao stared at her. After a long while, she said, like this, I will first sell a news to you. Hong Ling paused and saw the calmness from the opposite young female's expression before she speak a sentence. In the beginning, Jiangnanzhou Province's Chen family's younger sisters were missing and current whereabouts are unknown. How about selling this news to you? If this news is valued, please let me meet the manager and then discuss about the news to buy. Hong Ling was startled and looked at her in shock. After a moment, she corrected her expression and said, May Shen young lady wait for a moment. Hong Ling will withdraw first. Hong Ling hurriedly left and the remaining green-clad girls in the tea room looked at her with curiosity. Apparently they did not know why did Hong Ling suddenly left after listening to her words. Shen Miao looked at the light tea in her hands. The tea was premium Yanzhen Junshan type of tea, and it has a very rich flavor when it enters the mouth. The light touch of incense in the tea room that accompanied made one to could not help but feel relaxed and happy. It was obvious that the owner knew how to enjoy. This Bei Zhaoxing industry dealt with pugilist world's news and was focused on the buying and selling of news. There were people who want to buy news. There were people who want to sell news. When the seller and buyer of news are linked, this business deal was considered successful. The Bei Zhaoxing industry was like the fire beacon transfer point in a battlefield and linked the buying and selling side together. And this news that Shen Miao was selling was a sensational case in Mingqi that year. Jiangnanzhou Province's Chen family had two younger sisters that were stunning beauties. With this kind of appearance, if they were to enter the palace, they would be able to gain the position of a consort. Even though the beauties in the world are all painted skins and were white bones with rosy cheeks, the true beauties were like the most exquisite jade that an additional glance was profane. The Chen family was a big household and has a big family business, and having two daughters like this was not a good thing. When daughters' appearance are too magnificent and there was no protection of the same level, It would only bring disaster to the family. It was fortunate that not only the Chen family was the richest in Zhongnan, they also had a status in the pugilist world. The Chen family had a good network, had many friends, and old Master Chen did a favor to a sect, so the Chen family also had backing. Who knew that even with such, the Chen family's sisters, when they were 16, during the Lantern Festival, disappeared under their eyes. The Chen family had been unsuccessfully searching for a long time, and 3 years has passed since the Chen sisters went missing. The Chen family still spend a lot of energy and money to find these two daughters, even though they knew the odds were not in their favor. But they never gave up. They even went to look for Bei Zhaoshen and spent heavily in gold to buy news. But there were no news in all this time. Now someone suddenly want to sell news on this 3-year-old business. How could Hong Ling not be surprised? Chen family's remuneration was very high, that even if Bei Zhaosheng were to only do this one business, even if it was only a fraction, they would be able to gain quite an amount of money. Business people would talk accordingly to money. Shen Miao did not believe she would not be able to find the master behind the scenes. The inside the pagoda of Feng Xian pawn shop. It was called Xianlinjian. The first floor was a place for business, but from the 2nd to the 6th floor, it was for the enjoyment of the family master. At this moment in the tea room on 6th floor, there sat 3 people in front of the table. Yu Shi, how do you arrive here so quickly? Zhao Yang frowned as he looked at the person opposite him, did not even greet at all. Opposite him sat a 17 or 18 youth, and this youth was especially adorable, which was different from Xi Jingxing generally shining handsomeness. Zhao Yang gentle temperament was like the water, but this youth was like a student next door. There was an inexplicable sense of affinity. He wore a lake green long robe, and when he smiled, it was rather lively and joyous. He said, heard that there are changes in the Ding capital plans and know that you two would definitely need someone who possess remarkable abilities like me to help out, so I specifically returned to lend a hand. He. What answered him was Zhao Yang cold laughter. But third older brother Z. The youth who was called Yu Shu suddenly turned to him and said, Yi Quilu's young lady Xiao Yao recently treated me cold and indifferent, and I felt terrified. Third older brother have always been liked by young ladies, why not teach me a move or two? This youth looked amiable and harmless but was a veteran in playing games. Xi Jingxing did not even look at him, looking at appearance. Could it be that third older brother think that a person like me with such looks is not handsome? The youth's face was red in anger, thinking of that year. I was considered a flower and sought after by tens of thousands of people. Is third older brother saying such stuff due to jealousy? Zhao Yang could no longer stand it and knocked Yu Shu's head. Yu Shu, you can return for saying these words. Yu Shu immediately sat up straight and spoke seriously. Third brother, let's talk about the plan for this trip. He had yet to complete his words when one saw a red-clad female coming from downstairs. She had a charming appearance but did not enter and stood across the gauze and called out, Family Master. Hong Ling Yu Shu guided patiently, told you many times that even though you are good-looking, when I am talking to my brothers, it is better not to come up. Even though I dote on you, but one must not have a sense of propriety. His young and tender looks were like of one who did not know about the world, but his words were like those of an old fox. It was fortunate that Hong Ling was his subordinate, as if it was an ordinary female who heard it, her face would be red with embarrassment. Family Master, it is a big business. Customer insist on seeing you. Hong Ling said. Hi. Yu Shu waved his hands. Which family's youngster is so arrogant? My Feng Xian pawn shop has no lack of money. Who cares about losing that business of his? No deal then no deal. Let him leave. There is not even a door to see this lord. But Family Master, that deal is not normal. Already said no deal. Feng Xian pawn shop do not serve those people. Yu Shu's hand reached out to eat the snacks in front. Hong Ling was somewhat troubled but was also helpless. Just as she was about to withdraw, she heard the purple-clad boy that she did not know what he was thinking about speak. What is the deal? Hong Ling was startled and looked at Yu Shu. She knew that these two people in front had close relations with Family Master, but at the end this matter was very confidential, so if it was spoken like that, One was afraid. Yushu looked at her hesitant eyes and slapped his tights. You were asked to speak, then you should speak. These two are our own people and also the managers of Feng San Pawn Shop. Their words are my words. If I am not here in the future, they are the managers. His voice hardly landed when Zhao Yan laughed. Seeing as such, Hong Ling calmed down before speaking with a smile. Here to sell news. The news is related to the case of Jiangnan's Yu Province's Chen family's sisters 3 years ago. The voice just finished when Zhao Yang was the first one to shout in surprise. The Chen family's case, to have news even after 3 years. This deal is a little big. Exactly. Xi Jingxing also spoke. The Chen family has extensive forces in the Jiangnan area. By taking this deal, regardless of silver, there would be additional benefits. Speaking this and that means that it has to be done. Yushu grabbed his head and said, since you all have said as such, then I will go and take a look which youngster it is who dare to bother this lord. This lord's appearance is very expensive. Hong Ling could not help but laugh. It is not a youngster but a young lady. Young lady? Yushu's expression changed and suddenly said in all smiles, looks refined? Very refined. With one look, one can tell that she is highly cultured and steeped in propriety. Yushu stood up in a short moment and patted his robes before cupping his hands and smile. Two older brothers. This younger brother will take leave first. Finishing, he turned around and rushed over to Hong Ling before saying, where? Quickly walk. Hong Ling, why did not say this earlier? After both of them left, then Zhao Yang sighed and had an expression of hating iron for not becoming steel, aka disappointment of someone failing to meet one's expectation. Before speaking to Xi Jingxing, I thought that since there would not be any use for him ending capital, you can let him return. It is also suitable as a target. Xi Jingxing likely said. Shen Miao sat in the tea room and looked down at the tea leaves that were raising and falling in her cup. There were sounds of footsteps from the door, followed by the lifting of the curtains. Hong Ling walked in and respectfully bent over slightly before guiding the person behind. Shen Miao looked up. The oncoming person was a 17 or 18 youth with a look of rare innocence. He wore a lake green-colored long robe with embroidered deer-like patterns. People said that the clothes one wear would tell the character of the person, and this youth character was most likely cheerful, which was fitting of his age. But Shen Miao pondered a while at the person in front. To manage the Feng San pawn shop properly and also hold the lifeline of the Beijiaosheng industry, it really was best not to underestimate him. This youth was definitely not as simple and virtuous as he appeared on the surface. This one is Ji Yushu. He sat opposite Shen Miao and greeted Shen Miao with cupped hands. Manager Ji, not know what is young lady's age? He threw out an irrelevant question out first. Shen Miao was slightly surprised for a moment before replying, 14. Oh, it is at a splendid age. He rubbed his hands and there was a touch of enthusiasm in his eyes, not knowing if there is already a marriage partner in mind. Is there any sisters in the family? Sounding like how young ladies were teased in plays. Hong Ling lips pulled back as she turned her head over, seeming unwilling to see her family master's roguelike behaviors. Shen Miao chuckled. It seemed that manager Ji is not here to make deals. Finishing, she stood up to leave. Hey! Ji Yushu jumped in shock. Shen, young lady must not be anxious. Let us talk about business now. Only then Shen Miao stopped. Ji Yushu muttered, looked like a gentle character. How can it be so fierce? With a glance he saw Shen Miao's bright eyes. He sat up straight and said, Shen, young lady, want to sell news of the Jiangnan's Chen family. Do bear with me for saying something. 3 years ago young lady was only 11, how would one know about the matter? As long as it is not fake, the seller and buyer of the news would after all meet. Be it real or fake news, it would be decided by the other side. So what is manager Ji worried about? When these words were out, Hong Ling's and Ji Yushu's had a stunned expression at the same time, and their eyes looking at Shen Miao were filled with deeper meaning. Hearing from Shen Miao's tone, it was as if she was very familiar with the various aspect of the process, but Hong Ling and Ji Yushu were very sure that Shen Miao had never been here before and was an unfamiliar customer. Be that as it may. But how does Shen young lady knew the business of Feng's Yan pawn shop? Ji Yushu asked again, accidentally heard upon and decided to give it a try. Shen Miao replied in 10 words, but it was watertight, making Ji Yushu's faint smile to stiffen. Ji Yushu's eyes turned and suddenly he changed the topic. Then how much is Shen young lady willing to sell this piece of news for? The people who buy news will pay the money, and a part of it would go to the person who sold the news and the other part would go to Bei Zhaoshen, and this amount of money had to be negotiated before. After that, I still want to buy a news. If Manager Ji is able to sell the news I want to buy, then I will not accept a single tael from Jiangnan's Yu province's Chen family's money and even give you some. Ji Yushu sucked in a cold lump of air. To be honest, Feng's Yan pawn shop has been open for so many years and many matters were handled by Hong Ling. Since Ji Yushu was one who gets others to work but does nothing himself, this was a business with total profit but was also a simple business which focused on the network in the 3 religions and 9 school of thoughts. There was very little brain work involved. Who knew that? With the conversation with Shen Miao, one felt that there were many curves and corners in her words which made him somewhat overwhelmed. Just like this. It was something that Ji Yushu was unable to comprehend. But he still remembered that he was a businessman, so he questions, what news does Shen young lady want to buy? At the look of things, it would not be small. If it cannot be found, one would be afraid that the money would be put on hold for many years, and I do not think it is a good option. If Manager Ji is willing, it would not require years as it is possible at the moment. Shen Miao said, what does this got to do with my willingness? Ji Yushu stared with wide eyes. I am not the selling side. The news I want to buy is that the Prince Yu residence is seeking to rebel, but this news is not bought for myself but for the imperial family of Mingqi. Does Manager Ji understand? Ji Yushu first jumped in shock by the words she said and almost turned over as he looked at Shen Miao like she was insane. Hong Ling also stared wide-eyed, watching Shen Miao calmly say those treacherous words, and felt a little faint. The tea room became quiet for a long time until the incense burned to half before Ji Yushu said, Hong Ling, bring them out. Hong Ling quickly brought the few girls out, and before she left she gave Shen Miao a look and the latter picked up the cup with eyes as calm as water. Shen young lady, Ji Yushu said, you are not buying news but creating news. No one would be telling the news directly and plainly to a middleman. Shen Miao's deal was to do it for outsiders. One could say directly going to Bei Zhaoshen. She wanted to borrow Bei Zhaoshen, this industry, to spread some rumors and let these rumors randomly spread to the imperial family. Bei Zhaoshen has many contacts in the 3 religions and 9 school of thoughts, and they were like slippery autumn loaches. At that time, just make a prick in the crowd. It would be done cleanly as no one would be able to find the source. With regards to the releasing of the rumors, Shen Miao was fearless towards a normal family, even it was an official's family. But to implicate the imperial family, the Shen family cannot take the risk, so this was her plan. Whether it is selling, buying or creating news, wealth is in the risk. Shen Miao smiled gently. Manager Ji does not dare to take this business up. Ji Yushu scratched his head and spoke like a troubled youth. I am naturally very tempted with Shen young lady's terms, but Feng's Yan pawn shop is not for decorations and is not used as tool for chess. One will be unworthy to face the ancestors if Feng's Yan pawn shop land on trouble due to this one's greed. He clasped his hands together. Currently the Bei Zhaoshen industry is like feathers of a phoenix and horns of a unicorn, aka extremely rare, because of one's ancestors. I cannot take the risks. Apologies to Shen young lady. He stood up and gave Shen Miao a greeting. This pawn shop will not take up Shen young lady's deal of creating news, but if one's decision of selling the news is not changed, I will order people to record it down. Once the news from the Chen family of Jiangnan arrive, this one would get someone to inform young lady. As for when and where, young lady can come to the pawn shop 10 days later. After finishing the sentence, Ji Yushu smiled at her full of apology and turned around to leave. Just when his steps were almost out of the tea room, Shen Miao's voice rang from behind. Manager Ji, since the bargaining chip for the deal is not enough, Will this proceed with the addition of formidable great general residences Shen family? Ji Yushu was surprised for a moment before turning around. The purple-clad young female looked down to the tea in front of her as if she could see flowers inside. Her voice was calm and waveless, but there was a trace of heavy tension which made the entire tea room felt suffocating. If you agree to do this business, the formidable great general residence in Ding capital will then become your Beijiaosheng's network. Upstairs, Zhao Yang and Zi Jingxing were still drinking tea when they suddenly heard a tensed voice. Older brothers, it is not good. They looked up and saw Ji Yushu running in recklessly. He lifted the beaded curtain with one hand and sat in front of the table before grabbing the quilt that he left behind, and poured a full cup of tea to fill his stomach before catching his breath and speak. Scared me to death. What's with you? Zhao Yang joked. Just now did you not went down in a hurry to look at the beauty? Why, the beauty was not beautiful. Very beautiful, very beautiful. Then that is strange. Zhao Yan touched his chin and thought, could it be that the beauty is fierce and you have provoked the other person? Such a frivolous person like Ji Yushu, one would shout and beat at him. It was much better with shy young females, but those slightly older would be unhappy with his merriment. More than very fierce. Ji Yushu had some lingering fear in his heart. Simply a monster. I have been doing Beijiaosheng work for so many years, but at the first time meeting such a deal like this. Is not it the Zhang Nanzchen's family matter? Could it be that she is robbing in the daylight and want lots of money? Zhao Yang asked. More than daylight robbery, it is like a bottomless pit. What exactly is it? Zi Jingxing glanced at him. If you do not speak properly, I will throw you out from here. This customer does not want money for the sale of Zhang Nanzchen family's news but said to use the money to buy news. Do you know what news she wants to buy? She want to buy news for the imperial family. The news is that Prince Yu of the first-rank residence is conspiring to rebel. Damn it. Ji Yushu could not help but curse. This is letting us, Fengxian pawn shop, build the rafts and want us to create news for her. When Zhao Yang and Zi Jingxing heard that, their expression gradually turned serious. Ji Yushu was playful and did not know the seriousness of this, but both of them knew the danger in Ji Yushu's words. The techniques that this customer used were really brutal. Ji Yushu was still shouted unreconcilable. On what basis? On what basis does my good Fengxian pawnshop have to be a raft for others? In the future, if trouble arises, she will flee and the one suffering will be my pawnshop. Think I am stupid? Since it is like that, you can just not agree to it. Zhao Yang said. Hi. Ji Yushu suddenly changed and laughed twice before saying, good thing I bargained and forced her to talk and offer a bigger price. You guess what is it? What? Zi Jingxing lazily asked. It is the formidable great General Shen's family in Ding capital. When this business is successful, the Shen family will be one of Beijiaosheng's network. I just came back and have already helped you a great deal. Quick, thank me. Ji Yushu laughed wildly. Shen family? Zi Jingxing stared at him and slowly opened his mouth. Who was that person? A little young lady that looked quite good and bear the Shen surname, most likely is a member of the Shen family. Ji Yushu scratched his head. It is just that she is very fierce and turned a blind eye at my magnificent